Now, the final piece of news I would like to look at as part of this episode is something that was actually released a couple of weeks ago that we seemed to miss. It went under our radar a little bit, but we found it now, and that's the most important thing, and that's this. Boom, the Ice Hockey World Championships, the World Junior Championships, I should add. They're going to be held in Edmonton in a bubble, according to Chris Peters of ESPN. So this article was released on the 17th of September, so it was about a month ago, but the International Ice Hockey Federation announced that the 2021 World Junior Championship will be held without spectators in a single-venue bubble format in Edmonton, Alberta, as a result of the current pandemic. The premier international men's hockey event for players under 20 is typically held December 26th to January 5th annually and was due to take place in both Edmonton and in Red Deer, Alberta. A new schedule for the tournament will be revealed at a later date. I would imagine it's going to go at a similar kind of time also within the year. If they're doing it in a bubble, I think that should be okay. But obviously, you've got to take these players away from their domestic teams, so it all has to be planned a little while ahead. The 2021 World Juniors will be played in its entirety at Rogers Place, which is obviously the home of the Edmonton Oilers and where the Stanley Cup Finals was held recently. And the NHL reported no positive tests for basically 6 weeks, which is really impressive. The IIHF president, René Fassel, has said, and I quote, "This is a tough decision to have to take, but ultimately we did not have a choice. The health and safety of players, officials and fans is our top priority. We were impressed with the presentation from the local organising committee outlining how a potential bubble scenario would operate within Edmonton, and we are confident that we can follow the NHL's great example in creating a safe environment for teams to compete." So essentially, the International Ice Hockey Federation for the World Junior Championships are using the NHL's bubble method to play the World Junior Championships for next season. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like the fact that they've announced this so early because it gives everybody a chance to prepare. I like the fact they're using Edmonton because they've already seen it works, and also the people in and around Edmonton will have had experience of making this work.
Yes.
So I think it's a very wise move because it means that everybody, particularly the people who will ultimately be in charge of making sure that it stays as a bubble and it doesn't burst, will be practiced in doing it, and they'll know what they're doing, which will ultimately give it a higher chance of success. They're doing everything that they need to do. They've given plenty of notice. They've said, right, this is exactly what the procedure is going to be. So everybody is going to be on the same page. And hopefully it will be a successful tournament. The only thing is whether it will come forward ever so slightly if the NHL does want to start on New Year's Day, or whether they will make the Oilers and speak to the NHL and make the Oilers play away the first few games whilst the kind of semi-finals and finals happen of the under-20 championship.
That's a good point that I didn't even think about. So that's a good thing.
That's factor here.
Exactly. You know, we complement each other nicely, Chris. That's a good factor to bring into play, though. I would imagine that they'd be able to figure that out relatively easily. And like you mentioned, it was either going to be Toronto or Edmonton. Like, obviously, Edmonton was meant to be one of the hosts of the tournament anyway. They've shown how successful the bubble was for the Stanley Cup Playoffs, so why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And the good thing is with this, compared to, say, Dallas or Tampa Bay that had been in the bubble for 6 weeks, this one's only going to be for a couple of weeks. So, you know, by the time they're in the bubble and they've self-isolated and everything like that, the tournament's pretty much going to be over, especially for the teams that are eliminated slightly earlier. So it shouldn't be a huge... It shouldn't be a very difficult thing for the Edmonton staff to be able to figure out, given the fact they have had the experience of running the Stanley Cup Finals and the Conference Finals and everything like that. So
yeah,
why not hand it to the experts that know what they're doing? And it means that we still get to watch the Junior Championships, which Canadians and North Americans love over the Christmas break. So why not? I feel like it's a no-brainer, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, I think it will make a lot of sense, and hopefully we have a good tournament.
Exactly. So we'll keep an eye out over the next couple of months or so, see if there's any more news released about the updated schedule, and we'll let you guys know. So do keep following and see what we have to say.